You're listening to Chicago's Afternoon News here on 720 WGN. I'm Steve Bertrand. The music by Chicago, but we're going to go to the suburbs of Chicago to talk to Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi. Congressman, welcome. How are you, Congressman?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. So I see that you are named to the Select Committee on Oversight when it comes to COVID-19. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Now, why can't you get us more vaccines and get them rolled out a little more quickly in Illinois?
I just got appointed yesterday. Come on, man.
Have you seen this Illinois story? It's pretty discouraging.
Well, I think that, I think that the biggest issue right now is we need a heck of a lot more vaccine being shipped to the states, and also more advance notice about when they're arriving and in what quantities. I think that states like Illinois and others have stored a certain amount, for instance, for second doses, not knowing exactly what was on the way from the federal government. And I think now, I think the domestic coordinator, the vaccine coordinator, his name is Jeff Science, indicated that they were going to both increase the vaccine shipments as well as give 3 weeks notice. I'm hoping that that means that states like Illinois and others can basically use the vaccine on hand for first vaccinations a little more frequently and get more people vaccinated because they are assured of future shipments.
Illinois ranks 44th of the 50 states when it comes to vaccinations, and they've administered 51% of the vaccines they've received, which falls in line with what you're saying, that they're holding back about half.
Yeah, and they're like 35th. They're in the bottom third of states in terms of the actual number of shipments of vaccines or number of doses that have been shipped per capita, which is concerning and obviously an issue of equity that I need to tackle on the committee as well.
That is one of the things you'd look at. Why do you think that is? I mean, we're, the third most populous state?
It's bizarre. I honestly, I can't say I know, and that's one of the questions that I'll be asking when I'm on the committee.
Okay, so tell me about the committee and the sorts of things you'll be looking at.
At least three things. One is the vaccine rollout. I think that to reach the herd immunity that we all talk about by the summer, we are going to have to up the number of shots that actually get into people's arms significantly, and so that's going to be a huge priority. The second is the economic damage that's been caused by the pandemic, in my opinion, has yet to be addressed fully. And so, for instance, I think that restaurants, the hospitality industry, other industries have been decimated. They need help, and we need to get more help, and we need to make sure the help that's already been delivered has been done properly. And then third, we're still hearing tons about new scams that have been perpetrated on vulnerable people who are being preyed upon by scam artists, and that's something that we have to end as well.
Yeah, it is disgusting that they go after the people who are, obviously if you're a crook, you're going to go after the most vulnerable.
Yes, sir.
At this time in our history, it's just absolutely discouraging.
Yes, sir. Especially the elderly who are typically the victims of these scams are especially vulnerable now when they are most affected by the pandemic.
And so when it comes to the committee, though, Congressman, are you going to be looking back at mistakes with the distribution or forward with ways to make it better? Because it seems like it's mostly an executive branch function to get the vaccine out.
It's going to be both. So this particular committee is a bipartisan committee that was established really under the CARES Act last year. Mm-hmm. And so it has some, very senior leadership on both sides of the aisle, actually, who are part of the committee. It has a very broad jurisdiction. And, quite frankly, it's an opportunity for us to actually work together to, for instance, get that vaccine out far and wide and actually, reopen our economy safely.
You talk about a broad order that you've got. I'm looking at the 10 items you're looking at. In number 10, the last one says, any other issues related to coronavirus crisis. So I guess that's a pretty broad brush.
Yeah, and I think that the taxpayers deserve to have that kind of oversight because, we've spent a lot of money. The pandemic has taken an anguishing toll on people's health and on their economic lives, so to speak.
Sure.
And so we have to get better in all kinds of ways quickly.
I know that James Clyburn is chairing on the Democrats. Who's the chair on the Republican side, or the co-chair?
I'm pretty sure it's Steve Scalise,
Okay.
His counterpart, the number 2 Republican, and I'm glad that it has that kind of senior leadership because we're going to have to scrutinize and improve our response, radically now that the Biden administration has taken over.
I've said this several times to other guests, Congressman, and I understand the delay in developing the vaccine and really the rapid fire that it came, the rapid production and everything, but it seems to me like we had all that time to prepare the infrastructure and the rollout plan, and it just doesn't seem to be there. I just don't get that.
I don't either. We could probably spend an hour talking about the Trump administration's very incompetent handling of the whole pandemic response. But I think probably now we should look forward. I think that's why the proverb is the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. And I think at this point, I think Joe Biden has set a goal of at least 100 million vaccinations in the first 100 days. He has said that, unfortunately things in terms of the number of deaths and cases are going to get worse before they get better. But now we just have to pull together and get people vaccinated ASAP.
Yeah, and it's not just the Trump administration. It seems like it's at the state level too that the tanks weren't ready to roll. I don't know. So go fuel up the tanks, Congressman, and I've got my sleeve rolled up. So just let me know when it's. I don't want to go ahead of anyone, but let me know when it's my turn.
We need to give you a shot in the arm, literally.
I'll take it. Nice to talk to you. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi.